Okay, picking up where we left off on page 428. Now we're talking about this business continuity and disaster recovery planning. And I'll admit that this planning phase is not solely responsibility of the network folks. I mean, there's an awful lot of other things people have to get involved. But, the networking folks, we're going to have a lot to say. So, first thing you need to figure out when you're trying to get this plan together is, what is the level of pain you're willing to endure? So, here's an unusual scenario. If you go to business and say, using our existing tape deck, it's going to take 8 hours to do a backup. They're going to go, whatever, I don't care. Why do I care how long it takes for you to do a backup? In fact, you probably do the backups in the middle of the night anyway when there's the least amount of traffic. So if it takes 8 hours to do a backup or 2 hours to do a backup, there's no big deal. So if you go to them with a request saying, hey, I need this really super duper high speed backup system that'll cut my backup time from 8 hours to 2 hours, are they going to be very enthusiastic and say, yeah, that's what we need? No, of course not. They're saying, backup? Who cares? I don't care if it takes 8 hours. But if you went to them and said, after an emergency, it's going to take us 8 hours to get this machine back up and running to do the restore. They go, 8 hours? Are you crazy? And you say, well, if you spend a little bit more money, we can drop that down to 2 hours. See, it's not the backup speed that anyone cares about. It's the restore speed. Okay, let me rephrase that one more time to make sure it's perfectly clear. Nobody cares how long it takes to do the backup. Everyone cares how long it takes to do the restore. One way of looking at it is, when you're doing a backup, you're under no stress whatsoever. Typically, it's automated. It's running in the middle of the night. Nobody cares. If you're doing a restore, that's when everyone's hair's on fire. The CEO is pounding on the server door. When's the server going to be back up? You're saying, go away, leave me alone. It'll go up faster. So they only care about how long it takes to do the restore. So don't ever use the word backup. Talk about restore time. Hey, you buy this new piece of equipment, I can reduce the restore time. That they care about. They don't care about backup time. Okay? Hey, by the way, does that sound like a test question to you guys? All right. So, what is the level of pain? You have to ask them and say, look, how long can you be without this server? And if they say, well, no more than 5 minutes, well, then right off the bat, you're going to have to go to high availability because you can't do that. You can't do a restore in 5 minutes. No way. But if they say, well, in a couple hours, I'd be okay. Well, then you can just have a single server and a backup system. Cool. All right. Maintenance. So they're talking about the disaster response components. These things, the things you have to do on a periodic basis. The UPS and the generators and the backups and all the things that you have to do. I can tell you an awful lot of stories about how disaster recovery things don't work. I already mentioned to you having no lights in the vault. Had a power outage, and so we had a UPS and the gas generator. So we had lights in the server room. So we told this kid, "Hey, go over to the building next door and go grab the tapes." And so he did, because lights were on, right? Why was he thinking? And he gets over to the other building and goes in, and he can't see a thing because the lights are off. Yeah. So we ended up putting flashlights in the server room. Not that we needed it in the server room, but you needed to grab them and go someplace else. So lights. Reloading an old retired server and not knowing where the passwords and all the rest of that stuff. So we end up with a server book, as I mentioned. So, those are the kind of things you have to do with business continuity and disaster recovery. All right, we have reached the end of this chapter, and we're going to see you guys again in the next chapter.